services, and of course insurance services. And with insurance services, it turned into um, more planning for retirement, more looking at what you would do after your careers. And I think when I started, it's funny because I started with a carrier called Allianz Life. And Allianz Life at that time, prior to Allianz Life, it was called Life USA. And when I took an early retirement package from Sun Company, one of the things I needed to do was figure out where I was going to roll my money to. And so Allianz Life was where I had rolled my money to. And and then I decided to become an agent with them, and they had a program where you could set up an account for as little as $25 a month. And that was amazing because my daughter, of course, back then you want everybody to be a part of this when you're involved in things like this. And I think about it, and this is a story I haven't told you guys, but one of my daughter's friends, young lady, and this goes back, it has to be 20 years. She started her account for $25. And this young lady has consistently, because I watch her account, she puts in a little more, but she has consistently every month stuck with the program. And back then they were, 25? Yeah, they were 25 years old. But I think the impression that I made upon them to save, was just so great that they, at least I know this young lady did continue with the program. And that's so important when I look at young people out in the community, because they're not committed to anything. And so when you can go back and know that you helped someone or you made an impression, to me, if it's just the one person, I made an impact, or I had an impact on somebody's life. And so when I started with the retirement planning and the savings, I also saw a need, because people were coming every year with their taxes. I saw a need to talk to people about their debt and their credit. And that is what led me to become a mortgage broker. And I did that because I would refer them out to go somewhere to try to consolidate if they had, property that they could do that with, consolidate some of that debt so they could write it off. Because of course, you can't write off credit card debt or those loans that are not tied to your home. And actually, you're not supposed to do that unless the home equity loan was actually taken out to do repairs to the home or improvements. But in any case, I decided to become a mortgage broker because it would allow me to get on the inside of how these lenders were actually handling, in particular, African Americans. And to me, a lot of them would go to their banker, which is a natural thing to do because that's where you have a relationship. But they were not being treated in a way, they were not being educated. And so that has always been my forte, is to get out information. It is really education. And when I started college, I actually had focused on education to become a teacher. And then of course, I took an accounting course and I was like, oh no, I want to be an accountant. That's where the money is. So, but throughout my business career, I've always wanted to teach or to educate what it is I was, involved in as a business person. So with the accounting, I would spend, lots of hours, and you can attest to that. When I would go out and see my business clients, it was more or less not just there for their financial records, but to understand what they were actually doing with their business. Not only to, tell them what they should be doing and budgeting with with their business, but to also give them marketing ideas that could help to enhance what they were doing. So that to me was still part of teaching. My love to educate and to teach was coming out in another way. So with the mortgage business, I ventured out into teaching people about the credit system and how credit works, and having them to understand that these reporting agencies are private institutions. As a matter of fact, I just had a discussion with a young man today, this morning, on my way here, because I remember to just, touch bases with him, and that was to reach out and let him know that you have these companies, privately owned companies out here that collect information, it's data, and that data is then reported. And see, this is where our young people are getting caught up, because they're not really understanding. It is not a federal agency, it is not a state agency, it is a private reporting company. And until they understand how to play the game, and it is a game, and how to go and fight for what is right, because so often they say, well, this is what they have reported on me, and they let it go, but it hinders them from employment. It rises the cost of their insurance. It has such an impact on their life. They really don't understand that if they were to just stop